Welcome to the Accu-Trade Window podcast. In this episode, Bob talks about the current state of the wholesale markets and what he thinks will happen in 2022.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Window with Robert Hollinshead. Bob, sometimes you don't know what you're missing until you disappear for a bit, and we've been in hiatus since before the holidays. But there's been a ton going on in the market, so can we just dive straight into things?
We can, and I'll confuse everybody way worse than the market's confused for sure. You know, before the holiday, everybody else, a holiday. It's the holiday. Forget about it. It's coming back. Don't worry about it. It's just a holiday. Because we came off the greatest, craziest, most unbelievable thing in the history of the world, for a year and a half or something. Never going to be duplicated. But we kind of got used to that. You follow me? Everybody started closing their eyes. And, of course, it's different drivers in the market that's thrown things out of whack. And then our traditional ways of using one of the satellite dishes to understand how we triangulate information to come to our expert opinion about what something's worth, separate from the data that we collect in our software and all the rest of it. It's simply undeniable. Nobody says that they deny it. MMR has been a standard since Hal Logan started it 28 or 30 years ago, right, at Mannheim Interactive. It replaced the sheets. So for people your age, Sean, you wouldn't know what a sheet is. To people my age, we wouldn't leave home without them, or we'd steal them from the used car manager's desk, because if you didn't have your sheets separate from gals, there'd be no possibility of having any idea what's going on. So younger people would never have a concept of what we're talking about. The fact is, MMR at the moment, based on the fact that everybody kind of uses it as a reference. Unfortunately, a lot of people in showrooms who don't have anything to do with acquisition, but are tasked with appraising cars, make the reference to MMR. And then what you're really doing is pulling a loaded 9mm out and blowing your brains out, because that standard, forget what other machinations you use to come up with a number to pull out of your rear end to trade a car, is utterly out of whack. And it's out of whack for here. Listen, careful, because it's simple. Most guys already know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. In other words, when you got Hertz and Avis paying 7 and 8, in our case, we've sold $15,000 over market value. It's not to a car dealer. It's to an entity that couldn't care less what the market is, because they're going to rent them for $150 a day, do that for 3 months, and they own the car for free. So it's unbelievable not $15 a day, $150 a day. So no matter what they pay for a car, in competition against people that have to worry about what they're paying, because in 60 days they're going to have to, get clear their desk out and move on to the next little rooftop, right? In other words, it throws that satellite dish into let's call it the realm of suicide. It's suicide. Now let's look at the next piece. There's more cars at auction. There's no cars around. Nobody has any cars. Tomorrow there'll be 9,000 cars at the world's largest auction. 9,000. There was half that many through the middle of this no cars around thing. And the worst part of the story, they own them for money. The vast majority of the people to bring them there, they're going to get a magic thing, and they're going to magically sell the cars for what they're worth. And now we're looking at 60% no sale rates, because everybody has unrealistic expectations. In particular, when you give it to somebody else to rep the car, they're getting a rep fee. They don't have skin in the game. They don't have any idea what a car's worth, because they're looking for their rep fee. This creates the massive bidder fatigue that then, as you think about it, we're going to invite, as we normally do, 6,000 dealers to come to an auction tomorrow morning, and everybody, pick your thing and do your machinations, what you're going to pay, et cetera. And you're going to sit there for the entire day and watch no sale parades, because people aren't ready to take what the market is actually willing to pay. This is a triple disaster, because now it starts to set panic into the people who are willing to buy the cars at market value, but the seller who can't sell the car at market value. We have this circumstance where it's called constipation. You dig it? In other words, you want to, but you can't. And therefore you say, well, I can't eat. But honey, you just made your fit. I can't eat it though, because I can't go. I can't defecate. I can't make them babies disappear. And then the rationality is, well, MMR is or some other nonsense says, which has utterly nothing to do with the market. Nothing, zero, has nothing to do with it. Because don't forget, you know who evaporated from the lanes. You guessed it, Hertz. They didn't bid no time, nowhere, because they got a little other way of getting their couple cars that they're getting. And they're not there banging away, bidding against all of our normal customers. They're not there, right? So now that unrealistic thing that we've been, like, I hope nobody took mortgages off or whatever you were picking off, when your normal profit is a deuce and you were knocking off 5,000 and 7,000. In other words, that is a figment of your imagination. However, we're still dealing with the remnants of that on MMR. And the couple cars that do show up on MMR are the ones that sold, not the ones that didn't sell. Come on, snap out of it. The couple cars that did sell, not the ones that didn't sell. So the vast majority of them that didn't sell, and you're sitting there trying to defecate, it ain't happening, Mo. It's out of the question. You see what I'm saying? So there's a convergence of a number of other things. Here's another one. You ready? So we do statistics because, we're a data company, and separate from buying and selling cars, that's what we do. That's where our time is spent, actually. And when we look at facts, not fiction, who we sold cars to over the past, let's say, 24 months, and you have a list of, a couple thousand dealers, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's 3,500 dealers, whatever the number is, right? And then you look to see who has recently bought cars. So guys that went deep and have been going deep for actually many decades. I think we have 39,000 dealers that we've sold cars to or bought cars from over the past X number of years, 39,000 dealers. And then when you look at who's recently been coming back and actually being the best end user, the cat that is hitting the button last, 64% of the dealers that we sold cars to last year, 64% have not bought cars in the past month. 64%. So that ain't even alarming. But what does that tell us when we peel back that onion layer, right? These guys got cars that they paid, Hertz plus money. And I'm using that as an example. I ain't hurting Hertz. I ain't hurting nobody. It's these rocket shot money because, no cars. You got to have cars. You don't have cars, you can't sell cars. Anybody knows that. You can't sell blacktop. Very cute phrase. But now you're looking at the same time aged units. So inside Gal's data, what do we know? We know that market day supply is all of a sudden at an all-time high. It went from being zero or none, whatever the number is, to a number that's wild. And now those dealers are calling, just our people, myself and other people, by the hundreds. There's no cars around, but I happen to have some cars that are around. Would you be interested in buying them? So, as trying to be as polite as could be, where were you 18 months ago, 12 months ago? Because obviously our laser beam check will buy anything, anytime, right? But now all of a sudden, it's constipation time, and you're looking for somebody with a checkbook. That's fine, but it's no problem. I'm not complaining about it. But what you got is people that have been like hiding in the woods, popping up like tulips. You follow me? Tulips all over the place, tulips, And what that really indicates in a much bigger picture is what you have is a circumstance where the idea that there's no cars around, along with how many cars are registered for the auction tomorrow, along with the no sale rate, we find out to be it's something entirely different. So you could either pull the plug and say it's panic time. My personal concept is that, as more people start to face the market and start to take the smashes right between their eyes in terms of their previous inventory, what they have in stock today, as that starts to work its way through, we will get to a point of normalcy. It is not going to be the insanity, regardless of the new car inventory is. It's not ever going to be that again. I believe we're going to be back to 2 or 3 years ago doing normal business. But in this period of flux, we're going to have I think, very bitter medicine to take. I think we're going to have a circumstance where the medicine is going to be difficult. You follow me? And in that process, we're going to frustrate a lot of people that are logging in to try to buy cars. They can't buy cars because they can't pay what people are looking to sell them for. So what that really means is like a weird thing. It's weird. It's very odd at the moment. And I don't think it's going to be a snap of the finger to come out of it. That you take that in conjunction with, and this is actually, it's on one side, it's kind of predictable. On the other side, it's kind of shocking. When you look at all the disruptors, people, entities that are going to show car dealers how to get her done because we're just dopes, trying to cheat and steal to make profit. But the disruptors are going to show us how to get her done, right? In other words, we can name 10 or 12 entities that, are public entities that do this or that, and then, related to cars, whether it's Lots or Vroom or, ACV or Carvana. There's 20 of them actually related to, showing us how they're going to, bring knowledge to, bring a new way to, no, ain't happening, Mo. So look at the stock and look at, in the very best market that ever existed, like with a factor times 3 or 5, never been through a better marketplace. All of a sudden, we watch stock values plummet from 32 to 4, and 17 to 1, and all the rest of them, right? Because they're going to show us how to do it. See, I personally, only maybe it's because I'm a car dealer for 50 years. I personally believe, anything that was built by a non-car dealer for car dealers, they don't have to make money because they raise more money, and they raise more money on top of the money. They raise more money, and all of a sudden it's going to be Amazon. I ain't saying I ain't buying a stock here and there, and I ain't saying I don't own stock here and there, and I don't saying that I haven't lost 70, 80, 90% of what I put in. And it's almost like you're not losing it because you know it in the back of your head. Nobody has no magic to the car business. There is no magic, regardless of how loud you talk and how low you drop your prices to be afraid to sell it because your next door neighbor's selling a frame damage wreck and he's asking less, and I'm going to sell mine for less because I'm a creamer with 28-inch wheels and 9 sets of navigation, but I'll sell it for less because no. Car dealer got enough common sense that, head down, eyes closed, keep marching. And I believe, we're going to come out of this thing without having a whole bunch of people that know so much more than us that never did them 14, 18-hour days, locking up and opening up and getting tricked by everybody in the world in the process and, getting knocked on your nose with fees that would make anybody disappear from anything. And then all the rest of the things that we deal with, right? In my estimation, just take 1 second, go to Yahoo Finance and pop 10 or 12 of them little 4-digit numbers in. And it's not like it's gratifying. It's just, I think, again, it'd be different if it was the opposite in the world's greatest economy for car dealers, that, you've seen the thing fly in the other direction. I would say car dealers in a world of poop with a wave coming, a tsunami of poop on the way on its way in for people that actually invest. I'd say the disruptors are the king. I'd say they're in. But when it's 180 degrees the opposite, something tells me that the grinding business that we're in, there is no shortcut to, like a successful pathway. That's just my personal point of view, which means absolutely nothing from anybody. But as a student of this thing, and as a developer of software, and as a skin in the game player that have sold more cars than anybody in the world in history, in an auction, face to face, spitting and screaming with another dealer, right? And then looking at it from get in your little rocket ship, go up 20,000 feet, look down and look at the lay of the land. I wouldn't bet against car dealers. The thing that we're going through, this tumultuous period of, Jesus Christ, these cars are high, or hello, I can't find cars, there's too many cars. It's not easy, man, because we're in it right now in the middle of it. Got to take a deep breath. Hard to do, and I'm talking to myself. I'm actually being my own psychiatrist. Got hard to do you got to take a deep breath, take a step back, look at the bigger picture, and just be sure that you're doing what's necessary to get the job done. You know what I mean? It's simple as pie. When there's too much money, you can't pay it. When you face that there's too much money and you sell it, take the dough and make it go somewhere else to readjust. It's really that simple. Try to make sense of it. It's very interesting to me. It shouldn't be, because I'm too old to make things like this be interesting. I'm supposed to go golfing, fishing, and watch grass grow or something, which that obviously ain't happened. And hopefully, generate an alternative thought path for guys that actually take this business seriously. You know what I mean? If not, not saying we know something. I'm just giving my perspective as a player to others to hopefully be in some any way helpful. Boy, that was a torturous 20 minutes, wasn't it? All right, Shawnee.
Let's do it again. Thanks.
You got it, Bill. Thanks, pal. Stay cool up here in the hinterland, Shawnee.
Thanks for listening. Tune in every week for a new episode where we chat with Bob Hollinshead, founder of Accu-Trade and the largest independent vehicle wholesaler in North America.